What do this and this and this
these books have in common? I read them in the past month and a half, and they're all different tellings, different imaginings of the Sleeping Beauty fairy tale. This one is Once Upon a Dream, which is part of the Twisted Tales series that Disney is currently releasing, each one surrounding a different Disney movie, particularly princess movies, but now we're kind of branching out. And this one is the story where Sleeping Beauty doesn't wake up when Philip kisses her. She actually goes through essentially 16 years of trauma with Maleficent as her mother in her actual dream. So she's trapped in her dreams by Maleficent. Things happen. I have a review. I think this is the side of the screen that they pop up on. If you want to watch my little recap review of that, don't listen to the audiobook. Still a very strong opinion. This book, Prince of Thorn and Nightmares, follows Prince Philip rather than Princess Aurora, and it is I think it's the second book in the Prince series. Neither of these series are sequential or connected in any way. They're just stuff on their own, companion situations. You can just read this one because why wouldn't you? But this one follows Prince Philip just before he's supposed to go to meet Princess Aurora, not for the first time because he met her as a baby, but to marry her. And he's like, I don't like that. I also don't like that my whole life has been controlled by everybody else and not me. So I'm going to be a rebellious prince and have struggles. But also, there's this girl in my dreams, which the dream part is the best part. We will talk about him. We will talk about it. And the third book, I don't have a physical copy of yet, because now that I actually have listened to it and I've enjoyed it, I think I might also collect this series. It is Mistress of All Evil, which is the fourth book in the... I don't know what the series is called, if it's called anything. If it is called anything, we're going to pop it up right there. The situation was I needed a quick audiobook to listen to while I ran some errands, and I didn't want to commit to the next book I had to read. And this audiobook was 8 hours, I think. Maybe 8 hours. So pretty short. I'm like, I can do that. We'll turn it on and see if we like it. It's actually, even though it's the fourth, it's the first one I read in the series because 1 through 3 were on hold. So I was like, it's on brand because I just finished Once Upon a Dream, so Mistress of All Evil it is. And I really, really enjoyed it. These are connected, so they are very sequential. They are kind of self-contained stories, but the characters that are recurring have a thing going on as well. So while I'm definitely missing some things that have happened already, they do recap a good bit, so you can get an idea of all the shenanigans. Definitely worth me trouncing back to number 1 and starting over. However, I'm just going to talk about this book in and of itself, mostly the way it made me feel about the Sleeping Beauty characters. Also, in true book review, Disney book review fashion, especially since we're talking about Sleeping Beauty, excuse me, Willow, I once again donned my Sleeping Beauty shirt, which again, I still have mixed feelings on her not having darker line art in her hair and it just being gold. I would have designed it differently, but that tends to be my opinion on a lot of things. So let's get into what I liked, what I thought, and do I have time? Yes, I do. I think we can actually talk about what I didn't like. All right, so I'm quickly going to start off with Once Upon a Dream. Again, I have the detailed review video thing here if I remember to put the card. If not, it's in the Twisted Tales series playlist, so maybe I'll remember to link that. This story in and of itself, so we're only talking about it in terms of Sleeping Beauty world based on Disney's classic movie. I did not let me rephrase that. I did not quite enjoy reading it in terms of Aurora, Briar Rose, Aurora Rose, whatever name we're giving her now, as a character, because she was very depressed through a lot of it, and a lot of her flaws being inactivity were for me, like, I do like an active, not, they don't even have to be like happy, but they can be a little bit more active of a main character. She does grow and become her own person. So in terms of character growth and things that like mental trauma and psychological trauma, yeah, both. Very, very well developed in terms of characters. The Philip in here made me question why I like Philip so much, and that's primarily because he's mostly a one-note character. He's very, I loved you and fell in love with you at first sight, even though you don't remember that, but I'm here to protect you and help you no matter what. We do kind of open up some of his darker secrets, aka his past and his feelings with his father, but that didn't really change how he was, so it was okay in terms of princeliness. The overall story was interesting because we were in the dreamscape and learning like what levels of control Aurora has there. Also with Maleficent's manipulation, not only of Aurora, but everybody she has trapped in the dreamscape. It was kind of like, she evil. Like, Maleficent was a very, very good villain in this. This is definitely a very strong Maleficent villainy. However, she still made the mistake of, I guess, underestimating. Like, there were, especially when it came to the final showdown at the end, it seemed like the Mistress of All Evil could have done more. But I'm always gonna kind of be skeptical about how things with heroes and villains go about. Overall, I would recommend reading this if you're into reading retellings, especially Sleeping Beauty ones, because it's a very, very different take on what could have happened, or even like kind of extended into the curse of Aurora falling asleep and everything. So worth a read. Not one of my favorite Twisted Tales overall. Some of the other ones are like, whew, but this one was good. Definitely worth a read. And it definitely makes you question, like, why did I like these characters? That is true. That is very true. Why he just fell in love with her. Why is he a super happy puppy boy? So it makes me question things, but still worth a read. Onto The Prince of Thorn and Nightmares. This book also wasn't like, it wouldn't be a 5-star for me. It would probably be 4.5. And I only say that because while Prince Philip was being his broody self, because Prince Philip gets to be the broody one in this one, with his whole like, I'm gonna be my own man and do my own things as long as I can, because once I marry the princess, I'm just her protector and it doesn't matter. And like, I get it. I wrote a broody character. Rome from Tower of Dogs is Mr. Broodster. However, when good things happen, he embraces it. He holds on to it. Prince Philip is like, I hate that I'm happy about this. I hate that I'm actually enjoying this conversation. I'm just like, bro, bro, stop with the brooding. It was a little much. You would think that he would have grown out of it because he very quickly, maybe not quickly, but he did find things that he liked. He enjoyed talking to the girl in his dreams, even though he couldn't see her. And she had technically been a plague upon his dreams his whole life and like overhearing his worst moments. But that's how they became true love, is because they saw each other's worst parts and they still cared about each other. Like that, the dreams and the conversations and the banter and the just the back and forth in Philip's dreams with Briar Rose, Aurora. So good. So heartwarming. Also, like, you're like, they're having an argument. Silly kids. Outside of that, when he's broody about his life situation, and then, you know, he's even getting trained to learn magic, which isn't a spoiler. It happens very quickly in the plot. He's always doubting himself, and again, as an author, I understand you can't just flip a switch in a character, but the level of broodiness sometimes was frustrating. But the banter, the romance was top tier. Top tier. Maleficent wasn't really in this book because she was like, again, the obstacle, the one who caused the curse, the one that his parents, well, his father in particular, was fighting against. So Maleficent didn't come into play until Curse takes effect on Aurora's birthday. That part, like from the fairies taking her to the castle and her pricking her finger on the spinning wheel and all those following events with the fairies, on par with the movie, you do just get the extra scenes of like his perspective as well as like what other things the fairies were doing, which in terms of the fairies, technically sort of kind of there in this book, but they became representations of Aurora's inner self in her dream. The fairies in here, there's like the three, Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather, but we don't really see them at all again until those events that line up with the movie take place near the end of the book, because he actually spends his time with 3 different fairies. How do I feel about them? It would be spoilers if I told you, but they are there. So check this out. This one I definitely recommend a little more if you are like a bit of a romantic, because like I said, the banter and the dreams, great. If you like brooding, fine. Like, I never thought I would find a character that made me feel like Rome wasn't the worst, broodiest boy ever, but Philip in this book kind of did it sometimes, so sorry. And last but not least, Mistress of All Evil. Again, this was a shorter book, so I don't have a lot to say because a lot of the plot had to do with the series and things that are going on. So what I can say is this book follows Maleficent. We don't see Prince Philip. We don't really see Aurora at all because she's pretty much been cursed at this point. She's already in the sleeping curse. We do see the 3 fairies. While we're going through this story, Maleficent has like a flashback, or like we're kind of going back in time to see Maleficent being trained and raised as a fairy before she became the Mistress of All Evil. She's also going to school essentially with the 3 good fairies, Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather. And they're bullies. Straight up. They're literally the clique of girls that are like belittling and against you all the time. But they're bullies. They're bullies. They are the mean girls. I didn't like that. Like, I felt so much for Maleficent in this book. I was going to say movie. More so than the movies, to be honest. Those movies didn't do much for me at all. The Mistress of All Evil book from Maleficent's POV was really good. And again, I just don't like that that the characters of the 3 fairies were trash. They were trash peoples. And even like the fairy godmother was technically trash. But like, I'm guessing like, okay, technically this whole series is from the villain POVs. So who we see as the good guys are not good in their lives. So, makes sense. Makes sense. However, I was like, why are they so mean? Why are they so mean? Even like Fauna is like the nicest of the 3, and she was not nice. Pretty much sums up my experience with Mistress of All Evil. Really got a totally different perspective on Maleficent as a character in her life growing up, and everything that she's doing with her curse. Different perspective on the fairies once again, and I'm just like, oof, don't ruin my girls. But it was very enjoyable, and it has encouraged me to start the series from beginning and go through those. So let me wrap this up by saying, if you want me to touch on those books by Serena Valentino, let me know in the comments, because I know I'm not the greatest book reviewer. I don't go in depth like some people who I feel are fantastic, and they are very well-spoken. I don't trust the words that come out of my mouth a lot. I can write because I can edit. I don't speak very well. Yeah, you could say, oh, we'll just write a script, but I don't got time for that, okay? It's fine. This is an emotional dump of book feelings. So if you want to see that for Serena Valentino's series, let me know in the comments, because I have not started that yet, so it's better to tell me before I do. I'm currently reading What Once Was Mine, which is the Rapunzel Twisted Tale. It's just so pure. It's happy. This is a happy book. For a Twisted Tale, that's kind of weird to say, but it's a happy book for me. Other than that, I think that's it. Let me know if you guys have any questions or other comments in the video. If you in terms of Sleeping Beauty, you have something you like or don't like about it. I mean, like, there's plenty of problematic things. I get that. We don't have to talk about the problematic stuff because we get it. Like, you don't just go around kissing people. Okay? Fantasy-wise, like, we'll talk about stuff. So, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Have a great night. I think goodbye comes next. Goodbye.